What's good, y'all? It's your boy FINESSE, back at it with another TDF perspective. Today's topic is about the Surviving R. Kelly documentary series that's recently come out. I've only watched the first 2 episodes of the series, but I get the point. A bunch of people have gotten together and decided they're gonna finally bring down R. Kelly for sexual allegations he's racked up over the past 20 years or so. Amongst the people are some of his own family members, women he was involved with, and former mentors and teachers. To be honest, none of the things that were said about R. Kelly in the 2 episodes I've watched shocked me. Hollywood is the devil's playground. I'm 100% sure that the things Robert was accused of are practiced by most of the entertainment industry. These people are not about to finesse me into believing that R. Kelly is the only man up there doing what he's accused of doing. What actually shocked me was the amount of people in the documentary that stated they witnessed the actions and did nothing to stop, prevent, or even bring light to them at their respective times. Also, all of these people attest to the fact that they heard things about Robert prior to the initiation of their relationships with him. All these individuals, whether they want to admit it or not, kept their mouths shut because they were thriving off of Robert's career at the time. They all want to take the moral high ground now that Robert is no longer making them any more money. The reality is that R. Kelly is just a man with a sex demon. Although he can't help himself, he should have either been put down or put in prison a long time ago. However, one must also consider it was the people around him that further enabled him to do the things he did. The many parents, whom are all aware of the situation between him and Aaliyah, but still chose to allow their young impressionable daughters around this man, are also to blame for the physical and psychological damage caused to their daughters. You don't put your child around an aggressive dog, then turn around and get mad at the dog for biting them. Just keep your child away from the damn dog. From what I've seen, this documentary is not just full of victims, but also many enablers that should be thrown in prison along with Mr. Robert Kelly. The first enabler is music producer Craig Williams. Craig says he remembers Robert from quote-unquote nothing when he was sleeping in his car. He was introduced to Robert in the 80s by an artist by the name of Gavin Christopher. Regarding R. Kelly's sexual allegations, Craig says he remembers wondering to himself why Robert used to hang around Kenwood High School. He had graduated many years prior. He says Robert was known to, as he puts it, pick up a lot of girls at the high school. So Mr. Williams, why didn't you address the issue to Robert face to face? After all, you have known the man since he was a boy, way before his success in the music industry. You didn't because you are a coward. Simple as that. This man Craig goes on to say how he was at one of Robert's parties and saw him feeling on the ass of a naked girl who looked like what he called a baby. Craig, why are you telling us this? Tell us instead what you did about it. All he said was that this was something he didn't want to be around and left the party. So Craig, you are also responsible for the physical and psychological damage done to these girls by R. Kelly. The second enabler was Robert's former tour manager and personal assistant, Demetrius Smith. When Robert was working with Aaliyah, Demetrius recalls him stating that he wanted her to have quote-unquote the best of everything, and that she was so beautiful to him. That should have been the first red flag. No grown man should be calling a girl who's barely even a teenager beautiful unless it's his daughter or younger sister. Demetrius goes on to say that Aaliyah always had Robert laughing, and that they used to go out to get ice cream and were so quote-unquote silly as he walked behind them. What grown man fosters a relationship like this with a teenage girl that is not his daughter or sister? So basically, Demetrius witnessed firsthand Robert's flirtations with Aaliyah and did nothing to stop it. He then admits to later on questioning Robert about his relationship with Aaliyah when he began to quote-unquote suspect things. And of course, Robert denied he was having sexual relations with her. I mean, why would he even admit to something like that? Demetrius is supposed to put 2 and 2 together and act accordingly. Instead, he decides to go against his suspicions and take Robert's word. Now 20-something years later, this man has the audacity to sit on camera trying to take down R. Kelly as if he wasn't basically that man's wingman. He even admits to helping falsify the marriage documents for Robert and Aaliyah. From what I've watched so far, the only person who addressed Robert's issue of meeting underage girls directly to him was his high school music teacher, Dr. Lena McLean. She states in the documentary that she would often tell Robert that he should not meet young girls and that he shouldn't give her no BS about it either. Dr. McLean matter-of-factly goes on to say that he had no business around them and that they were too young for him. I find it sad that this woman was the only person that had the courage, or more so common sense, to approach Mr. Kelly about his issues face to face. The rest of these cowards let it happen and now want to be superheroes 20 plus years later. Overall, this entire situation effectively shows how undervalued the so-called black community is in this society. Everyone knows that if it had come out that R. Kelly was having sex with underage so-called white girls, he would have been jailed immediately, along with anyone who helped facilitate his actions. There probably wouldn't have even been a trial. There's no way Robert would have gotten away with keeping young so-called white girls away from their parents for years. On the other hand, had the people surrounding R. Kelly been more vigilant and assertive in dealing with this man and his demons, he would not have gotten away with abusing so many young so-called black women and would have been put in prison where he belongs. This entire situation is a perfect example of how failing to address issues that may have no effect on you still makes you culpable for the damage caused to others directly involved, especially if you have knowledge of what is going on. As a TDF, you cannot afford to be a bystander. You don't necessarily have to be a superhero either, but don't just keep your mouth shut about things simply because they have nothing to do with you. Just ask yourself, what would you want someone else to do for you if you were in a similar situation? Whether they knew you or not, you would want them to do right by you. For those of you still in school, if you happen to be in a situation where someone is relentlessly bullied or harassed, make it a point to step in on their behalf, whether it is directly or indirectly. Again, I'm not advocating that you become some kind of superhero. I'm just saying you should take certain precautions to avoid contributing to negative situations. This could be something as simple as changing the topic of conversation when you realize it's going in a direction where someone is going to be humiliated or embarrassed. Or perhaps you have more confidence and decide to address the bully directly. Either way, don't settle for being a bystander when you witness an injustice taking place. Alright y'all, it's your boy Def. Y'all take it easy, and y'all be safe out there.